Welcome to the Collingwood Rant. I'm Sly.
I'm the Chief.
And I'm Here We Go Again, and here we go again, Spook.
Played GWS in another preliminary final.
I got this incredible feeling of deja vu.
Yeah, we did it in 2019.
What, this episode?
Yeah, we did that. We did this episode in 2019 also.
Another Sydney team with 1 point, either way.
Yeah.
Like last year.
Taylor Adams injured, missed out. Do you think that was going to affect the side in terms of losing his grunt and hardness around the midfield?
Yeah, I think, and we covered this in the last episode we made. I think that inside mid, I thought his absence was going to be pretty crucial to GWS's chances, because I didn't think we were going to win too many clearances or anything like that. But how wrong were you?
Totally. So Mitchell stepped up. Mitchell was grunting there, but no, I thought it was going to hit us hard. So it was but it didn't around the ball. Might have impacted a bit around the forward line because at points of just getting out so easy.
Alright, so coming off a 1 week rest, started pretty strongly. McStay was good, but missed the fucking sitter from straight in front.
That was unbelievable.
But that was probably the best game he played until he was injured.
Yeah, I thought, you should be handy next week.
Yeah. And then the second quarter was just really dour defending. Went into half time, we'd only kicked 2 goals.
We just didn't move the ball in the second quarter. Basically, it was just kick, mark, stop. There was no run. It was just slow as.
Well, that left side was also the scoring end.
Yeah, I think it was funny. Like, watching it at the ground, I was pretty pissed off at half time.
Doing nothing.
Because, everything about what made us good this year was absent in that quarter. No run, no carry. We sort of forced into being a contested side, which we aren't really particularly good at. But then, you sit down and watch the replay, and I don't know whether it's the cold, hard light of day thing, but it didn't look that bad as it did at the ground the second
at the ground, it just looked slow. It just looked slow and stagnant. There was nothing.
Let me ask you though something. So going into the finals, there were people saying either we were foxing and waiting for the finals, or we'd switched off to some extent, and then going into the finals, then we'd just hit the fucking gears and then go bang, bang. Do you think our form in both finals has reflected a return to our earlier season form?
No.
Or do you think there's really, because to me, it's really concerned that there's still a fucking massive disconnect. They're not really getting that run on, which they were doing pretty well. They're defending really well, but their offensive side's fucking just not working at all.
There was patches in both of the games that they played pretty well. That was like the first half of the season, but too much of not. So, that third quarter, that's the way we've been playing. We're playing in the first half of the season. And was it, Dacos went back again and got some run out of the back line that we had.
The two guys that generated the win were fucking Dacos and the goalie, who was magnificent. And then you get players who just, Mitchell was really good. He fought for it. Pat Lipinski.
Yeah, I was baying for blood at half time with Pat Lipinski.
Is there any children watching?
No.
Can you put a bleep in?
No.
He was fucking putrid. I think we talked a little bit outside before about it. I think in that resurgence in that third quarter, look, if you wanted to give some credit, he was part of a couple of chains. I think he laid one good tackle. The rest of the time, he's just off.
Oh, the first half was
just
shocking.
not throwing himself into anything.
No, he looked like he... I don't want to say short step, but he looked like he short stepped a few contests because he was mindful of physical. It looks like his shoulder is not right, and if that means he can't tackle, he can't absorb a hit or whatever, then as you said previously, that's a liability in the grand final.
Yeah, I think that performance. The funny thing is, it's not funny. But I think the whole fucking MCG turned on him at one stage.
At half time, everyone around him was just like, get rid of him, what is he doing?
I saw him ducking down a few times. There was Coke cans coming at him and stuff, and there was a rubbish bin thrown at him. It was just... normally we're quite accepting of our own, but this was full-on hatred.
Yeah, there's no one.
And I think it would have simply come down to, if we'd lost that game by a point, there would have been a lynch mob there waiting for him. It became, I think because I think you appreciate how much a team will try, especially in a prelim, that there's no fucking next week. You've just got to go in hammer and tong every chance you can, and to see him pull out so many times, or fucking fumble, or the fucking floppy kicks he was doing. I think it just got too much for the crowd. It was just like, fuck, he's going to cost us. Yeah, and I think the hatred became really quite palpable there for a while. But, winners are grinners. We love him now. But I don't think we should see him in the side this week. But it'll be interesting discussion come selection, I think. Because he'd have to be on that performance on the periphery.
He would.
I think because of where we're at, he probably he's probably going to stay in.
Adams comes in if he passes.
Adams not going to come in, so
Isn't he? Is he out?
No, he's out. So very highly unlikely. But I mean, we'll get to that later. Thoughts about the GWS game? So McStay was good.
Yeah, it was good till he went down, except
apart from that miss.
Goal.
Let me ask him like him going down. So a guy rolls into his legs, injures his knee, puts him out for 6 to 8 weeks. That's okay, but you go for a smother, you run into someone, you knock him out, and you can be suspended for that. What's the difference?
Well, there isn't really any.
Isn't that what the rule about under the legs was all about when they got?
Yeah,
they broke his leg or whatever it was.
We don't care about legs anymore. It's all about the head.
Yeah. No, but I'm saying if the whole thing is we don't want players injuring other players, and you've injured a player, however, whatever the case is, then surely that's a suspendable thing by the AFL's definition of we're trying to protect the player. But we were only trying to protect the head, unless it's my chick getting suplexed into fucking next week.
That was 1-2-3 count on that one. That was ridiculous. And didn't even get a free kick.
I think that they would have looked at the McStay incident seriously if his leg had actually snapped off, flew up and hit him in the head and he was concussed.
But this is like last year, Jamie Elliott was tackled and then busted his shoulder. All right, by definition of a dangerous tackle, if you've injured him, that must have been a dangerous tackle. Why wasn't that a suspension? I'm not saying that it should have been, because I think you got to fucking accept if you play this game, you might get hurt in incidental contact. And you know what? Concussions are terrible things, and obviously I understand long-term ramifications. But still, no one walked into AFL or Australian rules and said, hey, you never told me I might get hit in the head. Surely you all know that's part of the risk of playing it. It's not like fucking pilots and jet fighters are going, wait, we might crash? What the fuck? when did this come up?
There's too much accidental stuff that people get rubbed out for. It's part of the game,
They try and mandate it out. And that's what I just find ridiculous. Well, if you're going to say anything that causes an injury, it should be a suspension, then... an injury to the head is suspension. Then surely equally, all of it should be.
Yeah, but they don't get sued for a leg injury. They get sued for a head injury.
But you don't know that, because in the future, McStay might have knee problems. He might turn around and go, well, you didn't take care of me properly. And that could happen. Look at the Carlton player, Luke O'Sullivan, who slipped on the fucking protective cover on the centre square, like it was over a sprinkler or some shit, and did a knee injury, and then he sued the AFL for whatever it was, negligence or some shit. So I'm just saying, you don't know that these might not have long-term repercussions for... I'm not just saying McStay,
well, it does. A lot of AFL players have stuffed knees, stuffed hips, and stuff from injuries. Can't walk or are hobbling along and all the rest of it, but that hasn't gone to the courts yet, so I don't know.
Yeah, but I mean, the concussion thing's only going to courts. Anyway, so that was just an aside. Defences is really good, although Moore's kicking's a real big worry, and they're saying his ankle doesn't really bother him getting a contest and marking.
Did you see the footage of it after? The ankle?
I heard it was quite big.
It was post-game on Fox Footy. They were talking about certain things. They went to some footage of him. It was like shot from behind, and he'd had his boot off, and the ankle was like fucking two big tennis balls hanging on both sides. And was it Abby or... It was Abby Holmes was asking about the ankle, and he goes, well, it's going to spend the next couple of days in the ice bucket.
Okay.
Yeah.
But I'll be all right. And then she tripped over the ankle. So it's... it was massive, though.
Okay.
But I don't know whether that's... was that something new? Did you take a knock? Or is this... They sort of... Didn't they infer it was ongoing?
No, they brought it in. He brought it in. He said he's been managing it. So who knows how long that's been going. And
I saw him warming up with an ice bucket on his foot.
Well, it is Collingwood. Some of the Crisp sort of played a really nice third quarter against
He
Melbourne.
started well as well.
I thought the Melbourne game he was really good, and the rest of the season he's been pretty mediocre. So it was actually good to see him contribute meaningfully. Nick Dacos,
Just back up for a second. Could you imagine if he fucking nailed that goal on the run?
Yeah, I know. We're on
The
the roll.
fucking roof would have gone off the what little roof there is. It would have gone thermonuclear.
Yeah.
That would have been fucking massive.
What do you think of Mason Cox in the ruck compared to Darcy Cameron?
He's
Fucking
way better.
Light and day.
Because it seems
It's way
also
better.
that like they're playing him more and more in the ruck, like they're realising 5 years too late. Hang on, this guy could ruck. This guy who's 7'4" can ruck. Who would have thought that?
Yeah, he did so much. Like when he was in the ruck, we looked so much better than when Cameron was in the ruck.
Oh,
He actually got to the ball. He got his hand to the ball. He had more aggression at the player and all the rest of it. Mate, there was it's chalk and cheese.
Well, what would you do with Cameron? Because Cameron, I know you thought he was BOG outside of his ruck work. I thought I saw him do one thing, but you saw him do like. You said it was a Greg Williams-like performance.
Around the ground, he was consistently okay. I thought, like he's got a presence in packs at least. He took a couple of good marks. I don't think he was as bad, or he wasn't bad. Like his ruck work, I think lets him down, but I think he contributed.
So the ruck work lets him down, does he?
Yeah.
Is that what you're trying to say?
But that's not a revelation. I think we've only mentioned it 1,258 times that he's not that great a ruckman.
Yeah, I think since he came back from injury, he started off the season round, and since he came back from injury, he's done not much. I think. And I think he's been
Are we back on Lipinski?
both.
No, but that's all.
But it's been costing other players that I thought had been having
All those
better
guys
seasons and stuff.
who were rushed back from long-term injury have struggled.
Yeah.
So Lipinski has struggled, Cameron has struggled, and Howe. I don't think Howe's done some good things, but
Myercheck was out for a while.
like my checks sort of been in and out. Like that tends to be him, and as someone said earlier, they seem to struggle to work out that synchronicity with McStay. So one of them seems to miss out. But in terms of those long-term injuries coming back after 10, 12 weeks and then just being rushed in, they've all seemed to struggle.
Yeah.
Which has been really, I think an indictment on how they manage those players back into the side.
Yeah, well, we've talked about this before. I think there really is this sense that the Fly wants a seasoned side out there, competitors and experience. There's this. That's the only reason why you could think that Lipinski gets
You think he's got in his head, he's got his best 22, and as long as they can play, he puts them in.
I think that's the case.
And I think Lipinski's part of his best 22.
I think there was a patience license extended to a lot of these blokes to get their form back in the seniors, and come finals time, we'd reap the rewards. I don't think it's really worked out that way.
Well, there's no irony in that because he didn't really blood the young guys. And now he could actually probably do with one of them stepping up to fill one of these spots.
Yeah, I mean, when we look lackluster at times, and they look like there's no fucking run.
Yeah.
We need a fucking line breaker. Someone with some fucking genuine pace. Because our games are looking just seriously congested all the time now.
Yeah, and everyone tries to congest us in the middle so we can't go through. So you need to be quick. And that's what the second quarter didn't show, and that's what the third quarter did show. And even in the third quarter, I noticed even when we're going sort of sideways, it was marked straight away. They'd go. They wouldn't actually stop, do their 15-second look around. They'd actually go sideways and go from one side to the other side of the ground, but straight away, bang, bang, bang. Whereas in that second quarter, just stop. Yeah, tra-la-la, have coffee, and then off they go again. It was so slow.
Yeah,
and that's what we need.
So the thing that worries me with the game plan is at times it's like just go, go, go. And at times I think fucking take the ball, handball it, don't tap it on, don't volleyball.
Yeah. Don't do this over the top of the head, the handball.
Just do the simple things. And then other times it seems like McRae must tell them, look, don't give it up too easily. And then they overcompensate and they fucking chip around and shit. And there's a few times in this game too, like I remember one time, side bottom kicked to Cox on the wing and then just ran past and took the handball. I can't remember what it was. It might have been Nick Dacos was like in the centre by himself, and that was sort of that risky kick, changing the angle they might have taken previously.
Oh, but did you see that? It was the last quarter, third quarter, where Dacos just went straight up the guts, and Howe took that mark.
Yeah.
That was the only time we actually went, and I think that was the first or second time he actually took a kick out for the game.
He hung around a couple of times, and Moore overruled him.
Yeah, that's right.
Which is, I'm not comfortable with Moore doing the kick-outs.
No, he should be the big guy out.
Taking the mark,
taking the mark, being a target.
But I also think, I think Nick deliberately must have dropped back to think, well, I can do a better job at this because it's not really your role now anymore. So, look, I applaud the initiative.
Oh, that was great. I thought it was fantastic.
Certainly, fucking that kick was a fucking beauty going up the guts.
Yeah, it's reminiscent of the really good Geelong teams from about 13 years ago. Is they back their players to win those one-on-ones, even though it's a risk. Josh Dacos,
He was quiet,
Yeah,
but
had an
he
average
really
one.
he was a massive difference in that last 10 minutes.
I thought I didn't think he was as quiet as like he did some stuff. I mean, he fucked up some kicks, but so did everyone. That last play though was really reminiscent of the 1980 prelim against Geelong, where Geelong's Michael Turner was the fucking star of their side, played on Lee Carlson for Collingwood, and just towelled him up the whole fucking game. Except for about the last 2 minutes, there was a contest on the wing, the one contest that Carlson won, and the game was decided by a kick, and that was very similar to this, as where Josh Dacos, it looked like he was going to struggle to pick it up. Then he grabbed it, then he held it out and sort of dummied them. And then just did a beautiful kick to Hoskin Elliott.
Yeah.
So I thought that was like promising. The goalie, we sort of talked about him briefly, but what a game that was.
He was a fucking beast.
Mm.
The fend-offs.
Yeah,
it was like fucking watching Dustin Martin out there.
Just running through the tackles, the fend-offs, the kicks, the bullet a gate. It was great.
He was just unstoppable. I don't think there was too many times that they were able to hold him and tackle him.
No, listen.
Apart from that travesty one where he was tackled one-handed, wasn't really a full tackle. He went to the ground and handballed it away, but apparently, according to X, that was an offensive moment.
Well, talking about the umpiring. So they got like 350s, two of them against side bottom. That first one was really funny because side bottom was in the wing. Side bottom ran by the guy in the wing, and he kicked it past side bottom. And it's like, it's a 50 against side bottom. It's like, well, he hasn't impeded him because the guy's actually hit his teammate. And then his teammate's turned and given it to Hogan. He's taken the mark straight out. And the umpire's going, no, it's a 50. We've got to bring it back.
That was that stupid one where he kind of went to the mark and then walked back and they said,
that
mark.
was the later one. He was on the mark and then there was that one he actually jumped back, which is that rule's a fucking farce.
Oh, what pisses me off about that one, you go one step to the side, it's 50 metres, but you handball it, you give a free kick and the opposition kicks it away or handballs it away and you don't give it anymore. So where 10 years ago they were so tight on the wasting time after a mark or after a free kick, nowadays you can get away with anything. You can get away, you just push them down there. Oh, there's a ball, put it over there, put it over there. You can do whatever, but step 1 foot off the mark, this is 50. It's ridiculous.
But that's their mandate, that they want to keep the ball in motion.
Yeah, but that keeps it in motion.
No, I agree.
If you pay those ones, they're wasting time. So if you pay those ones, people will stop wasting time and doing the scrag and the niggle and the kick the ball away and all the rest of it.
The one thing I said with like the stand rule is they addressed something that wasn't actually an issue. The only reason they introduced it was to let the play continue and to hamstring the opposition from doing anything to stop it, which is really ridiculous. I actually think if they're going to keep that stupid rule, they should modify it that, like, you know what, you can't move side to side, but we're fine with you moving back. Because that was what side bottom did. He actually started bouncing back because he wanted to mind the guy behind him, and it was a 50. And it's like, well, it's not fucking fair if that guy can do nothing but be a witch's hat.
Oh, but that's what they want.
I'm saying, they want to open it up for the ball carrier, whoever it is, just so they can keep the fucking game in motion. Because every rule they introduce is designed to keep the game in motion, which is like why they pay deliberate fucking too much. And, you let people always kick out straight after a point.
But that's what shits me about the wasting time bit after marks and free kicks. They waste time. But if you want to keep it in motion, pay the 50 so that this guy doesn't kick it away or handball it away or scrag on the tackle or keep their hold and all the rest of it. They were so hard on that 10 years ago. Yeah. And now they just don't care.
The biggest problem fucking is just that they pay the odd one. And it's like, well, okay, it's an issue now. It wasn't an issue the other 8 occasions. So you'd never know what you're going to fucking get, which is what I've always... Watching this game, like I thought the umpiring was shit both ways. I thought we copped it worse, but apparently X says differently. Watching the Carlton-Brisbane game, fucking Carlton got some real soft free kicks.
There's a shock.
Yeah.
Fucking hell.
But like I've watched a few games sort of toward the end of the year, and the umpiring is just shit. It really is shit.
It's just inconsistent. That's the problem.
But no one knows what the fucking rules are. Like the AFL, that constant thing of, we're going to be hot on this week, whatever it is. It's like, well, why is it different?
What was that one that they paid? So the GWS player kicked it, went onto the wing. They were paid an out of bounce on the full, and they said no, it bounced on the line, and they put it, it
bounced on the line and then curved back in. And once it bounced on the line, the umpire anticipated it was going out, so he blew his whistle, so it's out. But then it was like, no, the ball's actually stayed in, so it's gone.
Didn't it go out?
No, it didn't go
out at all. Okay, so
it bounced. It's got to go fully over the line, doesn't it?
And then it bounced.
But anyway, it never went fully out.
It landed on the line, just kept it arced back into play.
Yeah, and then he said, well, I've blown the whistle too early, so why are you doing that, you fucking dickhead? and it's gone pretty much straight to Nick Dacos. He was actually in the clear if he went and got it, could have turned it back around. And he's gone, well, that's a ball up. And it's like, well, that's fucking pretty pivotal fucker.
I don't know what the hell happened. Everyone,
I didn't know what
everyone
happened.
else was scratching our heads. What the hell went on
I don't
here?
know what fucking happened. Like, I only saw it on the replay, and it was like, oh, okay, that's what actually happened. And Brian Taylor, who usually knocks us, goes, well, why have they called, a ball up from that?
It's because the umpires interfered with the
Yeah, I know.
play, so they have to throw it up.
Yeah, but it's again, that's the umpire's fuck up for making that call too early. So why has he gone too early? I mean, the other one too is after Cox kicked that goal in the last quarter, and then he did his typical one with a run into the guy in the mark and give him shit. The guy's ripped his jumper, and the umpire's gone,
You got to go off. Yeah.
Got to go off and
Go get a new
jump
jumper,
shot.
Mason.
Since when?
Go and have a nice drink. Have a biscuit while you're there.
Yeah, since when's that a fucking rule?
But I reckon that this is now becoming a bit of a tactic that you're seeing a lot of fucking torn jumpers deliberately in things.
Yeah, but they're
to
usually
get
allowed to-
But if it's going to force you to fucking go off and get
Yeah,
changed,
now it is.
It becomes a
Yeah,
tactic
but
that
the
takes someone
Brisbane
out.
guy when we played it was
Yeah.
5 minutes, however long, and I think one of the other games that were on,
No,
someone
well,
just comes out and gives them a jumper.
Lipinski had a torn jumper for a
Yeah.
quarter, but you probably didn't notice that.
No, yeah, the Brisbane game, I think Maynard, I can't remember, he took one of their players' jumpers.
Yeah.
He just stayed on bare chested until they ran the jumper out to him. If you can just fucking... Because you saw it happen with the goalie. He went off for a last rotation, he never actually got to get back on. So you could rip someone's jumper and they could actually potentially never get back on.
That's right, yeah. As I say, I think it's becoming a bit of a tactic, and that response is just going to enforce that being trying to be exploited.
Yeah. So...
Torn jumper, umpire. These stitchings come undone.
I know they don't... The players don't do it, and I know fucking... It's meant to be a professional environment, but stuff like that, Pendlebury or someone just like, he doesn't need to go off to get a jumper.
No, someone just brings it back on like
Yeah.
they did all the other times. And does that count as a rotation on the interchange bench that you now have lost
the only thing
because of a torn jumper?
The only thing I think of is because Cox kicked the goal, he was going to go off anyway.
Yeah.
So maybe that was what it was. But it's like that fucking check suplex. Someone should have just turned to the umpire and go, how is that not a dangerous tackle? You have flipped him 180 degrees in the air and landed him on his back.
You can say him, but nothing's going to happen. Not then and there. Nothing's going to happen.
But I just want them to fucking point it out because the biggest problem I think in the AFL is there's so many shit rules and shit decisions and people just accept it. And players' clubs should fucking actually point it out going, nah, look, that was fucking... You want to cite Maynard for a smother, which turned into a bump, but that was actually an intentional fucking flip, and you're going, that's fine, and everyone's going to sign off on it. It's like the Cox thing. I've said it for years. I'd rather the club just set out, like, whoever the fucking coach, whether it's McRae or Buckley before him, just came in and said, we'd really fucking like to know why Cox doesn't get a free kick. You hold him, you scrag him, you block him, he doesn't get a single free.
They go straight into him. They just go straight into bumping him. That's like they're not trying to get the ball, not trying to go for a mark. They're just going straight to put him off.
And that's you look at like Kerno, who's fucking miles ahead of frees of any key position player. You scowl at him and he gets a free. I mean, he plays it up a lot, so they see it. It's just ridiculous. I wish their club just sort of made a bit of noise. And I know people go, what difference it'll make? It's just like, well, it does fucking put the umpires on notice. And like, bloody James Hird did 20 years ago for McLaren.
Mm.
So, any final thoughts about this game before we go to the grand final?
There's one thing. I mean, just really on the back of that. So there was that little mini furor about whether Nick Dacos should be cited for the dangerous tackle on the. I can't remember who it was for GWS. Him and Pendlebury took him down.
Yeah.
Was he the one that went off with the concussion protocol?
Yeah.
Yeah, so they're arcing up about that. Like, he's missed, he's crucial to us and all that sort of thing. The way it works is that there's someone there from the AFL who says, well, we think he probably should be tested. The fucking club doctor still makes the final call.
And they
which
made the call.
Which is what they did.
Yeah.
So doesn't that rob you of your right to have a fucking sook about it? When your own staff are going, well, the reason why he was concussed test is because our doctor said he probably should
Both
be.
doctors, I think. The two doctors said, no, we're testing. Two doctors.
They take the exam twice.
Oh, I don't know. They must have.
Yeah, no, but that's stupid. I mean, if you go back a week earlier, Wiedering was bloody knocked in the head, staggered around for 3 minutes, and that was fine.
Yeah,
and you
that
haven't
was
heard any
ridiculous.
fault. Again, that's the AFL. This is what pisses me off. There's things that should be investigated or exploited through the media, and they don't fucking mention it. And I always compare it to the ruck rule when two ruckmen wrestle and the umpire blows his whistle, and no one knows which way it's going to go. All the players are like, okay, and then all the commentators go, what's this? Or everyone at home is like, yeah, we don't know. That should be a fucking issue that no one knows what the rule is. But no one talks about it because that's what the AFL do. They just stonewall things and people just stop complaining. It's a really shit organisation. So you got Dan McStay injured for the grand final. What would be your ins and outs? So from what we understand, Adams won't play.
No, it's looking highly likely that he won't, and I wouldn't if he's... I mean, they'll put him through the paces, I think, this week with the fitness. I just don't think you can risk taking someone on who's done, whether it's a minor strain or not, into a grand final. Because if he goes down in the first quarter, it fucks things up. Yeah. Whatever you're planning is now undone. You've lost your sub. Somebody else goes down, you're fucked. I think you've got to just not roll the dice on anyone who's suspect.
The other thing with Adams too is I don't recall last time he had a full season. Like last year, he got injured in the qualifying final.
Yeah.
And the year before, he missed a few, and I think the year before, he missed like a big chunk of it. So it seems like his body's not up to a full season.
If you play Adams, you'd have to put the sub as a potential Adams replacement rather than as a tactical replacement of what you want to do as part of the game.
You'd probably play Adams as the sub and just give him a quarter.
Yeah.
Yeah, but this is touchy-feely. We're giving you a crack at a possible premiership by doing it.
So we'll agree you wouldn't play Adams.
Yeah, actually, that's unless, not... Yeah,
unless he's 90%, let's say, you wouldn't play him.
No.
No.
No, all right. So McStay's the one injured. So what do? You bring in Kruger. I don't know what the state of these players are because the AFL finished a while ago. You got potentially Kruger, Ash Johnson,
Ash Johnson,
Will Kelly.
Johnson's got the busted wrist, so he's
out.
He's no chance. I mean, the word you're hearing is that it's Frampton and Noble are the ones.
I think they're the ones. They're the only two that have got potential to bring in.
I'd look at Kruger. I mean, the thing is with Kruger, he's just as fragile. You don't want to bring him in without playing any senior footy.
Yeah.
However,
he's playing pretty consistently in the VFL though.
You won't die wondering with him.
Yeah.
Yeah, and look, if he goes out there and before he decapitates himself, if he kicks 3-4 goals, he's done his job. Yeah, at the moment, you're looking... I mean, there's two things with McStay. He hasn't kicked more than 2 goals in any game this year. So it's not like you're giving up a high-scoring... needing to replace with a high-scoring forward. He does have presence around the contest, which Kruger will do as well. It's still the longevity thing with Kruger. Will Kruger last a game? And have some form of...
But will he just be so far off the pace of the game? Because we haven't played in the reserves for a while,
he played. I think
we haven't played for a couple of games, and then he hasn't played. So we haven't played for 3 weeks in the reserves or whatever. So he hasn't played a game, and then did he play this year at all in the seniors?
No, he played one game against
a game. So you can't bring a guy like that. I can't see you're going to bring. He's not a regular that you brought in.
I reckon you bring him in the Tonya Harding role.
Sorry, the Lynch role, the 2003 grand final Lynch role, where he just belted everyone that he could find.
Yeah, but the reality he's going to be running around like one of the Hanson triplets in Slapshot. He just goes out and hurts everyone.
But the reality is, whoever they bring in wouldn't have played for 3 weeks. So
yes,
I mean, probably the most logical thing they'll do is play Frampton down back and then play Howe up forward. Because last time we played Brisbane, Howe played as a defensive forward on Harris Andrews.
Yeah.
That's potentially what they could do. I mean, I'd take the risk on... Sorry, from the outside looking in, I would take the risk on Kruger. They know a lot better what his condition's like. Because the one thing with Kruger, wherever fucking he gets no kicks or whatever, he'll attack contests like a fucking maniac, which none of these other players will do.
Well, the thing is, let's say in the first half of the season when McStay was out and we're actually playing well, what was the setup in the forward line? Because you had Elliott, you had Myercheck.
I mean, you had Ash Johnson in and out. So.
Yeah, had Ash Johnson in and out, but he did nothing anyway when he was playing. So how was that set up anyway? You didn't have McStay, you didn't have Frampton. Well, you had Frampton playing because the rucks were injured. How would you then set up? Because Howe was out. Well, how was the setup then?
No, it was Myercheck and Johnson, and then you would have had... Because Cox and Cameron had been injured at different times. Frampton came in defence, then went into ruck.
Yeah.
Stave was playing, then got injured. So for a little... I mean, they've really rotated that forward line quite a bit. And not through no fault of their own. It's just because there's been injuries.
And would you play Nick Dacos off the half forward straight from the beginning rather than actually try and run him through the middle, half back, rather than try and run through the middle, because just to get that role. And then would you put Noble in? Does Markov stay?
I think you need Nick in the guts now. There were times when him and Geordie really had some good moments in this game. It's like the synergy's starting to evolve. I don't think we'd want to throw him up back. I think the obvious, probably one, I don't know whether you mentioned early on, is that Frampton goes and stands because they've got Hipwood, they've got Dunny Hare, and then they've got one more third tall forward. Or is it...
No, it's just mostly those two.
You've got to need two blokes that stand there. I think the opportunity there is maybe to release Howe.
I reckon that's what they'll
forward
do.
Line.
They'll play Frampton in the back, put Howe in and then swing it if they need.
I don't mind that because if the ball's going to come in and it becomes a fucking scrap, at least he can fly and he stands a good chance of taking a mark. It could be the difference.
You can't really fly that much anymore.
And then would you...
No, but he can still get off the ground and take a good grab.
I think Kruger actually gets off the ground higher than him nowadays.
Yeah, he just doesn't come down in one piece though.
That's when it comes down to someone else. I mean, the alternative is you just play Cameron or Cox up.
Which is what, that's
and they just play one of them as
resting
predominant.
Yeah, I don't think. I don't know. I don't think I want to take Coxie out of being number one ruck at the moment.
They might just play. I mean, Cameron, he's not a great ruck, so at the moment he's a
terrible
terrible
ruck.
ruck.
Forward.
So you might play him as a marking forward. I mean, the weather it's meant to be hot. I know it's like 7 days away, so it could be anything, but it's meant to be
27.
Yeah, so it's meant to be hot and dry. So you'd think they're probably going to go a little bit tall. So they're not going to go for a smaller forward line or anything like that. But they really haven't exposed any of the other players to enough football to suggest let's go play a Will Kelly or fucking Roosevelt or something.
No, there's no one that's going to come in that hasn't been part of the journey. It's really going to be Frampton and Noble.
Oh, so what about the other
Noble and then does Ginnivan start?
Well, Ginnivan has to start. You can't fucking sub him again. Like he's been subbed now for 3 games. It's just I don't think it's really bearing that much fruit.
No, I don't think
he's coming on. He's
done a few touches, but he's not.
He's not a speedster really by any stretch. I think you might as well just park him in the forward line and say, mate, just fucking go for it. Look, if it's not too much trouble, kick fucking 12 in the first quarter, and let's just put it beyond doubt. So these poor suffering pricks in the fucking stand can fucking enjoy a premiership.
Yeah.
Right, so would you drop anyone on Lipinski? Would you?
I probably would. I just can't imagine. And the thing is, the motivation would have to be there. That's the one positive I can take out of it is you'd seriously have to go look at yourself in the mirror and go, I can't fucking be this shit again. I have to go out and go fucking ape shit. Because, I mean, 2 things. I'm at risk of being dropped with that performance. I'm going to have to convince them I'm not going to fucking repeat this. And I'm going to have to go out and prove myself very early that my spot here is deserved. Otherwise, they're going to sub me off. He should go out and just fucking say, well, fuck it. I don't care if my arm comes off at 3/4 time. I don't care how much it hurts. I'm just going to throw myself at everything.
Yeah, you'd have to. You'd have to leave him in. And then you've got...
Does
Marco... I would take him out and put Noble in instead, is what I would do. Or put one of Noble on the... Play Ginnivan, put Noble as sub. Frampton for McStay. I mean, Lipinski out, Ginnivan plays, and Noble sub. Well, that's what I would.
I mean, Lipinski I would drop, and I'd play Hill.
Or put Markov.
I'd play Hill in Lipinski's role, and I'd play Ginnivan in Hill's role. So Ginnivan would go up forward. Lipinski would play more of that sort of sweeping, high forward midfield type. He's got the fucking pace to break lines and shit like that. I'd play fucking Reef McInnes or anyone in front of Lipinski because that is seriously one of the worst efforts I've ever seen.
Yeah.
And and he looks like he's playing sore, but then he shouldn't have been put in this position to begin with. And these people who sort of go, oh, no, but he might play a good game. That's the fucking problem with this club. We're all banking on what might be. No. Based on, since he's come back, he's played 1 good game. And that's
he should never come back. We talked about this. Should never come straight back in the team. Should have went and played in the reserves for a month.
You look. I mean, I always go back to 2002 when we brought Malloy in for that grand final, and he did nothing with that. It was the busted toe or something he had. Yeah. The thing is, you can't. They're liabilities. If they can't perform at optimum in a grand final, they really probably shouldn't be out there. The thing is, it's not your fucking top tier players that generally win you grand finals. It's your bottom tier and the contributions that they provide that they don't normally do.
The bottom 6 that step and play their role.
If you're going to go out there and be inconsequential for 4 quarters, then there's no point you being there.
And if he had a weapon, it'd be different. So, like, if he was really fast or some shit, you go, okay, well, maybe we're going to get something out of him. But he's not. He's just competent at things.
Well, maybe that's the thing. Maybe we should strap an AK-47 to his back.
I mean, the other one, going back to the forwards, the other one I'd consider, which is going to sound funny after we've been bagging him for 6 years, I'd sort of play Hoskin Elliott as the other tall forward.
Ooh, he spent a fair bit of time in the forward line this game and
Yeah, but I might be a little
brought the
bit
ball
more
to
open.
ground at least.
It'll be, yeah, but I mean, just sort of looking at like what we have available. So, what are your choices?
Oh, well, that's the problem.
You know, and then I'd actually like him to
Cupboard's bare.
you know, it's like the Nick Dacos thing is like, where do you start him? And I wouldn't be opposed to starting him back on the bench again for like 3-4 minutes, just to sort of throw there, tags and that. Not to disarray, but just getting them to have to readjust and shit like that. Yeah, but in terms of Lipinski, I fucking wouldn't play him. The rest can keep their roles. The one thing with Noble, I'd say he's about equally as quick as Lipinski. And at least he'll fucking put his head over the ball and he'll get it knocked off time and time
He's
again.
quicker than Lipinski, and he actually runs harder than Lipinski Noble. That's one thing you got to give him from the back, you know.
Yeah, well, fucking barge ass runs harder than Lipinski. In terms of like our record, since 2002 when we got back to finals after absence, you know, from 94, that was the last time we played a final until 2002, which is a pretty big span for Collingwood. Since 2002, we've played in 11 preliminary finals, and we've played in 6 grand finals, including a draw, for 1 win. Geelong's played in 6 grand finals for 4 wins. Hawthorn's played in 5 grand finals for 4 wins. Richmond has played in 3 grand finals for 3 wins. Brisbane played in 4 grand finals for 3 wins. The only one who's sort of like equally pathetic is Sydney. They've played in the 4 for 1, for 2, sorry. But they, they've won the 2, and then you get St Kilda, who's played in 3, including the draw, for 0. So let me ask you this: if you were following a club, would you prefer they were just constantly up there but only won a grand final every, say, 32 years? Or one that was up there for a chunk of time and did some damage and then might disappear for 10, 20 years?
Every day of the week.
It depends how much damage you're talking about.
Richmond like damage.
Shit, yeah. I'd rather have 3-4 years than being up there and have 2 in 20 years.
So Richmond won a flag in 80. They lost in 82, and then they weren't back in the finals until 95. And then I think they were one of those 2001. I think they were in the finals again, and then they didn't do anything until
for another 15 years or whatever.
Until Carlton knocked them out. Carlton being the 9th place team who was elevated into the finals because Essendon was and they lost that. They played that one against Port Adelaide where they won the toss and Compton said we'll kick against the win, and then Port Adelaide kicked about 12 goals with the win in the first quarter. But then they just fucking went ape shit, and they won 3 out of 4. You know who stopped there 4 in a row? No, but they won 3 out of 4. So really for, over 30 years, they were just pretty much a joke. But they won 3 flags in 4 or 5 years. Who knows what they'll do from here? I don't think they're in contention. They believe they are.
No.
But would you rather you do what they did, like get it together for like 5 years?
Fucking nice.
And be a joke for 30 years? Or be up there for 20 years so many times
and win 1.
No,
you'd rather have 3. It doesn't matter. It's all about the numbers. Win 3 premierships.
Collingwood, underachiever or overachiever?
Oh, fucking under. This is our 45th grand final. We've won 15. It's a 1 in 3 prospect.
It's ridiculous.
It's fucking
It's
obscene.
fail. It's fail. It's less than 50%. It's failure. You got to think we should have beat West Coast. You should have beat Geelong. There's those 2. And 2002, 2003 against the Cheats. They made Brisbane, which are playing again, with, Fly and Lepich on our side this time rather than against us,
Well, will they be for us? Because I saw someone post on the Facebook Collingwood group that how can we be sure McRae will coach to his fullest against his old team? Surely that's why Carlton lost against Brisbane too.
Yeah.
Voss couldn't coach to his fullest potential.
That's it. Oh, we're fucked then.
So we got double trouble then.
It's not just McRae. There's Lepich there too.
Yeah, double trouble.
Just in case something happens to McRae, you need a backup.
He's the
plan.
backup. He's the backup saboteur.
Lepich is like, I'll play Noble at full forward.
Put him in the ruck.
So Lepich is a defensive coach, and they'll go, well, Darcy's at full back, and Lepich goes, no, that's just what they'll be expecting us to do. So we all 3 of us agree that we're fucking underachieved.
Badly.
in terms of like, you know, the Brisbane Carlton final, who would you have preferred to face out of it? I know it's decided now, but who would you prefer to have faced? Who do you think we had a better chance against?
I wouldn't have been able to stomach it, but I probably thought it would have been better if Carlton they just poured their beer all over the floor. Were you stunned by that?
You were stunned by his comment.
Can you put some Revelation music in when you're editing this? Toast!
I got pushed by Hoskin Elliott, do you see? Or it might have been Lipinski.
I sort of think, you know, we might have had a better chance against the Blues.
I reckon
losing to them would have been fucking Hurry Kiri material.
Yeah.
One more time. I think so. You take that out of or you make that a factor of the equation. I'm glad Brisbane won.
Yeah, I think the same. I think we would have had a better chance against the Blues. I think tired and just they were at the end of their tether.
I think they're
yes, I could not stomach if we actually lost to them.
That-
I'd want to kill all my Carlton mates.
I'm tipping there wouldn't be the fucking ticketing fiasco we're about to talk about at some point.
They're a little
today.
bit- they're a
Because
little
most of us be hiding in a fucking cave somewhere. I can still see daylight.
I think that would have been a little bit easier to shut down and come off a hard run also. Brisbane, though, got fucking aside where they got a number of players who really trouble us. Danaher, Cameron kicked about 1-4. I'm sure he'll kick about 9-0.
But we've got the MCG on our side. They can't win.
We'll talk about that.
So Rayner,
There's pros and cons here.
So there's players, but they have a consistent sort of side that it troubles us. We haven't beaten them for about 4 years, I think. I think we've beaten them under Buckley.
It's the fucking Gabotoir factor, though.
Yeah.
We don't fucking play
And then we play Marvel. We play Gabotoir and Marvel.
And then we go
the last time we played them, I read this the other day, actually today, last time we played them at the G was 2017.
There you go.
Okay.
Yeah, when we play him,
That
play
was
Marvel,
actually- that was
we play with Gabba.
Beams was there, I remember that. Yeah. So we haven't played at the MCG for a while. They don't have a great record at the MCG, but they only need to win one there. So that's the other side of concern. So what are your thoughts about, like, can we sort of shut them down, reverse what's been good form for them against us on a regular basis for the last 5 years?
Has it been good form? It's just been enough form. I mean, the thing is, like, we lost to them twice this year, and that's the thing that worries me, is that, generally when we fuck up a grand final, it's against a side that's just the only one that we couldn't fucking beat for the year. I think Brisbane's a little bit of there's some outliers there in terms of the Gabba factor, and we were fucking decimated with injuries to key people in both those games. So I don't know who we were missing. We had no fucking ruck. McStay had to ruck with Cameron in the first game, I think.
No, Cameron didn't play at all.
Did he?
No,
sorry, Frampton, with Frampton.
Well, Frampton was playing in defence,
Yeah.
so he came forward to do a few rucks.
Yeah. But we did have, I think, one or two others out, side bottom.
We had a number of outs. I mean, for the first quarter and a bit, we actually dominated, and we just didn't put it away on the scoreboard.
And in the last quarter, we just dominated too, and we kicked like point after point. We just couldn't make it back.
And then they just had that run, and I think they blew the game open, and we pegged it back, and then but that ended up being the match. I think it was a false negative. Is that the right statement on that one? I think that wasn't really truly indicative. And up there, it's a fucking prick at the best of times. The Marvel game, we were without, didn't have to go. I think, did we have Noble missing as well? There was 3.
Well, Lipinski didn't play.
The goer was gone.
Oh, no,
the goer was
Sorry,
out.
I didn't see him, Yeah, the goer is out. I mean, in the Marvel game, there's still the argument. Like, I thought we were trying, but like people are saying, well, were we trying as hard as we could have? It was
No, and I think there is a factor in that when you look back over the tail end of the season. And I think once we banked top 4, we started to take the foot off the pedal a little bit. And obviously the outs certainly helped, and we didn't drop that one by a massive amount. I think we can be competitive against them, and I think the thing is with them, they've only won I think one game at the G out of their last 15 attempts. 15. It's got to be a hoodoo. I think the crowd has to be a hoodoo for them. They should go in as favourites. We should be the underdog. And I don't know whether that pressure is going to be something that they're going to hold particularly well. I reckon they struggled to put the Blues away on the weekend.
Oh, they did.
And that should be an alarm bell for
Well,
them.
I know like they had the 1 week break, and that obviously they were rusty, but they also looked really nervous in that first quarter. So you'd think I remember going to the Hawthorn Fremantle grand final like 10 years ago, and that first half Fremantle were just overawed by the occasion and by the crowd and all that. You know, they were kicking grubbers. Fife had never missed a set shot that year until the grand final. So it's also whether they're going to struggle with the acclimation process. You'd think that we've consistently played in front of really big crowds.
That's going to be a big one. Like,
And
they haven't played in front of any big crowds, and we do it every
They
second week.
played in front of 36,000, damn it.
We do it every second week.
I think we did that at training.
It's no surprise that the last couple of weeks they've all been making those rally cries for the supporters to drag us over the line or something. The fucking noise will throw them off.
Yeah.
And this is the fucking thing, and obviously this can lead into what we can talk about with the ticketing thing. This is the most muted fucking game of the year. It should be the biggest representation of fan base going, but you'll have fucking 60% of the people here will be fucking people in ties who probably wearing fucking St Kilda jumpers.
It's the prelim games are always the one that's the last game for the fans of the season. You know, we were there. It was 97,000 and 96
And that's right.
of the five of them were Collingwood supporters.
You're not going to get that superb one-sided crowd noise that we had the other night at times. That you're gonna need to fucking put your fucking work in as a supporter and make some fucking noise to rattle them, to let them fucking know that they're outnumbered, that they're on enemy territory. Yeah, this is our home ground in essence. It's our home game.
It is our home ground. It's not even in essence, it is our home ground.
Oh, it's supposed to be neutral because it's a grand final, but fuck, it's our fucking home ground. But the thing is, I think the club's been deliberately trying to rouse us to get us fucking invested in this stuff to put them off. And I think if you can make them fucking nervous at the start, and we can really start fucking imposing some of that run and carry, we could be fucking good.
Well, you can't blame one of these games which has been a methodology this year where you have a good start and then you just go missing for 2 quarters.
No,
and then leave to the last quarter.
I think like Malthouse said in that grab that you posted today.
I didn't post it.
Or whoever fucking posted it. Where he talked about...
I'm still angry about the bread rolls.
When you saw it,
No.
So it was with him and Caro.
Kelly Underwood.
Kelly Underwood. Is there a difference?
A little bit, yeah.
Karen knows the names of the football teams.
I know, Caro's more attractive.
Well, she always says, she never calls GWS the orange team.
No, Kelly's nice.
I think it's a bit late to save that one.
That's something. Where was I going with this? Now you've derailed me. No, I was asking Malthouse about who he thinks will win. And after he went on a 28-minute talk about the non-rocker goal and wanting to belt the shit out of an umpire and that, he sort of said, he thinks that we'll win. And it's because we can close those games down at the end. We didn't talk about it in the match review, but that last 8 minutes...
good work.
That's a fair fucking effort to shut a game.
Well, Matthew
down
Lloyd's talked about that repeatedly, but he talked about it again on Footy Classified, just saying, if you look at Collingwood in those tight moments, they don't actually want the ball out. They'll grab it, they'll force another tackle, they'll bring it to the ground, and they'll waste time. So he goes, they just do it again and again and again. And when Melbourne lost to Carlton, he brought that up too. He goes, if you watch Collingwood, they don't want to get the ball out. They're actually happy to grab it, bring it over the line.
They don't want to point. They don't want this. It's like, I can't remember, we played earlier in the season where we deliberately kind of went out of bounds. I was thinking of side bottom instead of getting that point.
Yeah.
And
then similarly with the last kick prior to the Josh Dacos on, but like Elliot got it from the stoppage and he went out to the wing rather than go straight forward. But could have just turned back around. So, and they talked about on the Footy Classified, it's not just luck. He goes, they keep doing it because they know how to close out their situations. I know years ago when Clarkson was coach of Hawthorn that they actually trained to play the last 2 minutes of a game, whether they're in front or in deficit. So they actually trained for that. And what's his name?
Fly says it every week.
But McRae was there under Clarkson, so it's not surprising he's brought the same system over to say, let's train for this. Whereas you go, with no disrespect into the Buckley, how many close games did they lose? Because they didn't know how to close out the game, and it wasn't just in the grand final, but like in home and away games and that, they regularly just lost close ones when you thought we were a chance.
And you saw this way, it really broke GWS's structure.
Yeah.
Like they just couldn't fucking react. But then they started playing into our shoes essentially
Yeah.
by fucking running into
putting
space
and putting everyone around the ball.
and
you know?
then we just started chipping the ball around to opportunities to just maintain possession. Look, I don't want the fucking grand final to end that way. I don't think my heart. Can
No,
take
I
another
don't
one
need
of
a
these.
1 point for 8 minutes. No.
No, I mean, I'll take it if we fucking win after the fact. But, I'd rather be in a position where we control a game and play well enough to have an unassailable lead.
Yeah.
In the first 10 minutes.
Well, would you ever
That's 10
be
goals.
comfortable? Like, if you're 4 or 5 goals up, would you be comfortable?
Oh, fuck no. I wasn't comfortable in 2010.
If I had 2 minutes left,
It wasn't-
four
it wasn't
goals
a-
up, yeah, I'd be comfortable.
It wasn't until Daisy kicked that fucking goal that I could let myself enjoy this moment because, like, 90 other thousand people there, I thought there's every fucking way that we've got to fuck this up from here.
I'll say one thing about 2010 is we built a big lead and that side didn't surrender leads. This side does. That would be my big worry.
No, but they turn it into an arm wrestle. And
when it gets close.
Yeah,
you
I
know.
When it gets close, but you look at like for example, the Adelaide game, we were 5 goals up, and then Adelaide got to 2.5 goals up. We regularly sort of surrender. Like we'll start well, and then the other team will just run over us for, and then we've got to start playing catch up. Which is why so often, we're having these fucking last quarter come from behind wins and shit. Is because we're forced to chase the deficit.
Yeah.
So if we were winning, and like this happened under Buckley too, but if we were like getting 5 goals leads and then just beating teams, that'd be comfortable. I think this year we've done that maybe against Carlton. We sort of just kept the same margin, and there was a few games like the North one where we were miles in front, and we all went to sleep, and they just let them chip that away. The only 2 games we really ran out were against GWS and Port. And we won by like 11 goals and 12 goals or whatever.
And West Coast.
In all honesty, I'd rather...
Well, West Coast got to within like 2
Yeah, no,
goals.
and then we kicked 9 goals.
If we
But
were
they should have never gone that close.
No.
if we were going to win by a large margin, I wanted this to be a progressive increase. I don't want them to blow them away in the first quarter because I think you could if you were coaching the Lions and we were 6 goals up at quarter time, you just go into the room and say, "Well, fucking last week we come back from this."
Yeah.
You can engage the mindset to say, "I think it's achievable." If it's even and then we start spreading out and then we go ballistic in the third quarter, the premiership quarter, then I'll be more
But
comfortable.
that was like in 2018. I think we got to 5 goals up, and I actually believe like a lot of players just went, "Holy fuck, we're 5 goals up," and they just said, "We've got to protect this." And it was really similar to 2010, the draw. Like we were up at half time, and it felt like the players then came in and said, "Let's protect this lead," rather than just smash it in. And then the following week in the replay, it was just like, "Let's just keep building and building and building." So with this team, they worry me that they've never had that in that 2 years. Or not, they've only displayed it a couple of times. They've only a couple of times really smashed teams.
Well, Brisbane, I think they're saying, is the best second quarter team in the comp. They always, whether they get jumped in that first quarter, they're the ones that actually pull away or come back in that second quarter. That's when they push it hard. So we've just got to make sure that we don't allow them to do that.
I thought we're the best in things coming second. But in terms of
Don't
like
go
going to the
finals.
ticketing fiasco, so Legends members for Collingwood who should be guaranteed a finals ticket have gotten shit seats or haven't gotten seats at all, or have gotten standing room compared to people who have lesser tickets and have gotten prime seating. So Ticketek is saying, no, we've done this all correctly. But there's a lot of fucking angry members. Apparently there was a checkbox like, "Are you happy with a standing ticket?" And people who didn't check that were just fucking pushed out of the ballot regardless, which is ridiculous because you have people who can't stand for a whole game and whatever the case. So it was ridiculous you have to qualify it. Look, I'm happy for that as an alternative. But the fucking social media was just totally aflame with people who've been ripped. And I know, like, David Hartley said he got really bad seats, but he went for a grouping of 7, and he told me, like, I spoke to him earlier, and he just said that, I could understand if it happened just to us, or, to a few of us, that's just the way it unfolds. But he said it's happened to a lot of people, and it's happened to people who've gotten, like, tickets in 2s and that. They've just ended up in really shit, or haven't gotten tickets at all, or shit standing things. So Ticketek's saying, no, they've done it right.
So Ticketek, because I got the letter, and you actually did have to put stuff in and tick whatever whether you accept standing room and all the rest of it. So Ticketek potentially have done it right according to the way they were meant to do it. They've just done it wrong in quarter the setup. What you should add was those legends and all that, like AFL tickets and all that. You get your seats the first hour, and that's what you do. And then after that, the next people get their shot, and the next people get their shot. Having them all then just jumbled up and anyone can get a ticket is wrong. And so that's AFL's fault or Collingwood's fault or whoever. that Ticketek just does what AFL tells them to do. So if the AFL's told Ticketek to do that, or Collingwood to do that, then it's their fault.
Well, I think
Ticketek's just going to say, yeah, all right, whatever, you tell us to do this, I'll do that.
Well,
they're just the mechanism.
At this point in time, the Collingwood is saying, no, this is not, we haven't said do it this way. So, like, Ticketek's copping the brunt of it for the way they've handled it. I mean, Ticketek's actually come out and said, the other thing is, like, they've actually claimed, oh no, there was people who had insufficient funds in their account and that's why they got bounced. It's like, okay, well, for grand final coming up, that's the time I wouldn't be checking my bank balance to seeing if I have money in there for tickets. I was just hoping it would go through fucking regardless. So you're getting a lot of pissed off members. You're getting members who are saying, well, I'm just going to walk. What's the point of paying $1,000 a year for a guaranteed grand final ticket and then not getting a grand final ticket?
I agree. What do you say? It's the system was shit.
Oh no, I got a good ticket. I don't give a fuck.
You don't give a fuck. That's really cool.
No, the thing is, and this is the harsh reality, is I touched about it a little bit before, is the grand final's not about you or me anymore. It's not about how many fucking games you go to or how much membership it is. Irrespective of that, top end of the ticket price is about $450 or something.
Yeah.
As long as there's some fuckhead out there who's happy to pay $3,300 for your seat, 3 beers and a cold piece of pie, is going to win every fucking day of the year. I mean, you got, I think, the allocations and my numbers here could be fucked.
What's that?
I believe it's about 20% for competing clubs.
17,000 each, I think it works out to be. 17,000 members tickets.
Every other club gets allocated, I think, about 1,000 or 1,500 seats.
Why do they get any?
Because they get to make a lot of fucking money out of it. If they're selling it to fucking the bloke who's willing to pay 300. So if you've got 1,500 tickets, so you got $3,000 a hit, and you can do with them as whatever as you see fit, is my understanding.
Yep.
You don't give them away. You fucking make money out of them.
You sell them for a stack.
That's $300,000-$400,000 in your coffers for something you're not even fucking a part of.
So I think it works 17,000 for each competing team. It's 34. Each of the other teams get 1,000. I'm pretty sure. So it's 16,000. That's 50,000 just on those two. Yep. Then you got MCC and you got AFL. And then you got all the other whatevers that they got. So AFL's 15 or whatever, 20. MCC's another 20, and you get to 100,000. So that's the way that they do it, and that's the way they cut it. And they make the stack. They make a stack. They sell that one of those 1,000 tickets for $1,000. You're gonna make a stack.
Well, $1,000, you get them cheap.
Yeah. But just sort of bringing that back a little bit. So you got Collingwood Legends members who are meant to be guaranteed a ticket.
Yeah, well, most of them got a ticket.
Guaranteed a ticket.
It's not your definition of what you wanted, though. It's like
but you have people who've actually missed out, so they haven't gotten anything.
Is that because they didn't have money?
No, come on. All of them are that stupid. There's like, I'm going to buy a ticket. I don't have any money that week. I'm sure there'd be some people who are stupid enough for that. But you can't say for fucking all these people that...
If they guaranteed, they should have got a ticket. So if some of them didn't get a ticket and it wasn't money related, it was just because the ballot or whatever crap that they had didn't get him a ticket. It's wrong.
The ballot...
And they should go to the Collingwood or whatever and say, give me my money back.
The ballot shits me on two levels. One, everyone pays $5. The fucking...
You get to get in a ballot in the first place.
It vanishes into the ether. You don't get it fucking refunded back to you if you miss out.
Yeah, that's great.
That's just a fucking rort in itself. And the second thing is, it's wrong that in the biggest day of your supporting year, it's a lottery that you get to go to the football. You got to just fucking cut this corporate shit out of it. The AFL needs to take a fucking hit in the day, and fucking stop paying for these interstate, over international acts. That money you can fucking pull back and get the grassroots supporter in. It should be about them. The prelim shouldn't be the last good day at the football for people. It's just fucked.
Oh no, but that's, I mean, years ago.
It's a soulless fucking game, the grand final, in essence, because you walk around, there's people there
in
fucking either neutral gear or wearing fucking opposition. You think, mate, what the fuck are you doing here? Seriously, I wouldn't go to your fucking grand final. Don't come to mine.
But it becomes like a boutique event. So
it's an event. It's not a grand final.
But it's a boutique event that they're probably trying to sell internationally, which is why they're getting like really popular bands like Kiss. I mean, Noah, they're hot. They're red hot. Probably about 40 years out of date at the moment, but they're red hot. But they're turning into this fucking boutique event. But surely people who are paying for memberships that should be guaranteeing them tickets should get fucking tickets.
They should have got tickets.
That's all it comes down to. And what you just said there, Spook, a little bit earlier, that sounds like a fucking way of the AFL going, you know what, let's redistribute the wealth from this event among the shit clubs and pump money into them that we don't have to admit we're pumping into them because we give them something
that's exactly why they give 1,000 tickets out. They used to be 1,500. They used to actually give more tickets out to each of the clubs that weren't playing.
And I'll say,
now it's 1,000.
And this actually really pissed me off years ago. It's like I remember that one year AFL had the year of the fan. It's like, how fucking stupid are you? Every year is a year of the fan because they're the people who keep your fucking competition alive. So why would you treat them like shit? You know, there's enough people to go to these fucking... And the other thing too is you go back to like, if you really want to make money, then just gouge the supporters who are actually going to that game. Make fucking us pay, you know, $800 for a bloody ticket or whatever. Because we'll do it. I mean,
$400 is still a big price to go to the game. You know, that's hefty.
But I'm saying that
the cheapest ticket standing is $185.
But this is what I'm saying is like, you know,
hefty pricing.
Would pay it if they want to compensate for the shortfall of not giving tickets out to people going to gouge on it. It's just ridiculous. I mean, it's really a shit run competition. I say it every week pretty much. It's really an appalling rate of competition. Should they have like a loyalty reward for people who go regularly?
Oh, it really. I mean, if you're not going to change the balance of numbers, it almost has to come down to that. That you've got to be rewarded for your persistence.
That's supposedly what it is, isn't it? That's what the legends and all that is meant to give you. You're rewarded for the money and the persistence.
We saw today what a clusterfuck that is.
The system is wrong. The way they allocate tickets is wrong.
If you're a number one priority ticket holder and you're not going to the fucking grand final, it's broken.
That's right. But just give them their ticket. Say you got 2 hours, like they do other time in prelim. You got 2 hours to buy your ticket as your legend.
They don't do that in prelim, they throw it open.
And if you miss out, that's just bad luck. If you don't get in there 2 hours, that's your own fault. And then it goes to the next tier, and then it goes to the next. But that's like, how they do it.
For the first qualifying go, so I'm an AFL member, as we all are. We couldn't get tickets in the AFL stand for the first game because they opened it up
to silver,
but not just competing clubs, to
everyone up to the silver level.
It's got to get to the point where you've got to cut these other people out. Look, if there's something left over, fine, you get to go, but you've got to reserve these events for the competing club.
The prelim's like that. Yeah. So the prelim is anyone could have got a ticket.
Yeah,
an AFL member, any AFL member up to silver level, gold, silver.
Yeah, it's
ridiculous. You didn't have to be a club support package or whatever, you know.
Well,
anyone
tiered.
Could go.
As you said, it should be tiered. I mean, I recall years ago talking to my brother about like the Collingwood Legends membership, and just because I didn't know what it was, this is years and years ago, and he goes, it's effectively a donation every year unless you make a grand final. And I'm not having a shot at Collingwood because I'm sure all the clubs have sort of stuff like this. So surely these people have been fucking pumping money in, and then you got to factor in mitigating circumstances like. Some of these legends were keeping their fucking memberships during the COVID years where you were not going. You know, grand finals, interstate. And, you know, for some people, bloody finances were lean. And they're keeping their Collingwood memberships to fucking help the club. And now you just get stiffed on you get stiffed on the biggest day of the year. I mean, fortunately for Collingwood, we'll be there in 4 more years. So, but, you know, you really think these people should be rewarded. And the fucking hanger-on should just be all chopped out.
Yep.
Tip for the game?
Collingwood.
How much? Is that your heart or your head?
22. Heart and head.
Okay.
36 points to the Woods.
Oh, it's confident.
If not, Brisbane will win by 10 goals.
You?
Oh, fuck. I don't know. You know, like when Carlton was leading against Brisbane, I was like, I could not face this. I could not face potentially losing to them. When they went out, it's like, okay, we'll play Brisbane. If we lose to them, I don't give a fuck. So I was like, you know, I've already lost it. I already died in my head in this game. So hopefully that creates a fearlessness. It's like after the draw in 210, it was like, I really got stressed. But then the next day, I was like, I died that day already. So it was fearless for the next week.
You weren't alone.
Yeah. So I'm going to hope the fucking Collingwood's, you know, campaign last year, which fell just short, and then this year that they've obviously really set themselves. They actually just win this convincingly.
No.
So
41
so
points.
at last year, you think about it, it was 1 point the other way in the prelim, and what did we do? We lost to Geelong by 6 points, and we beat Melbourne by 7 points. So those two bizarro things have happened, and then therefore we'll win.
Yep.
Yeah, but Geelong wasn't the one who, you know, won by a point.
My
Geelong won the premiership in the end.
Yeah, no, but like...
So we won, And so we win the premiership in the end.
Yeah, no, but I'm saying we reversed.
I don't care. Stop ruining it. It's got nothing to do with you. So then we're going to win. That's why. That's the omen.
Thank you, JJ Abrams.
I've done the maths on this. My 1 in 3 thing with the win-loss stuff. We lost the last 2. We're due for the win.
All right. See? That one too.
Okay, well, Brisbane, don't show up. Just phone that in.
Oh, that'd be even better.
Norm Smith medalist, tip.
Whisper. Nick Davis.
Nick Davis.
Nick Davis.
I've done it again.
The goalie.
Who? Lipinski, did you say? No, I reckon, tell you what. Lipinski. Because he's watching. You fucking win the Norm Smith and you stick it up us. Well, not literally. But you fucking prove us wrong.
Or Darcy Cameron. Or you.
Yeah,
one of the two of you.
I don't care who it is.
It's Mason Cox. First goal?
Bobby Hill.
Checkers.
Elliot. Alright, last thoughts before we go?
Just fucking win it!
Go Pies!
Later.